Hello my little learners, you can call me Lovegood, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Here are just a few things before we get started. Today I'm presenting you with When You're on Your Mindscape With Us, You'll Float Too by ohshiddlesticks on AO3. This fic is a sequel to a one-shot I did quite a while ago, titled Pure of Heart Clenched of Ass, and you can find that in the one-shot playlist on my channel. Thank you so much, ohshiddlesticks, for letting me podfic this fic. If you ever somehow find this, I apologise if my voice acting is bad. I'm trying to improve as much as I can. But anyways, thank you for tuning into this and me. As always, tags are in the description as well as warnings. But that's enough of my rambles and jambles, and let's get right into the fic. This is the summary. Summary. Maybe it's the Quirk Singularity Theory coming into play. And one for always hit singularity, said Lariat one night. I don't know what you think the Quirk Singularity Theory is, but whatever you're thinking, it's wrong, said Izuku in return. Izuku got Blackwhip when he was expecting a strength-enhancing quirk. Unfortunately for him, his life continues to just do things like that. The quirk was about as far from a strength enhancer as it could get, if Izuku was being honest. He'd been playing around with it pretty much since he'd gotten home from a short stay in the infirmary after passing out during the entrance exam. It was pretty simple once he got the hang of it, actually. He broke 3 glasses before he got the hang of it. He had gotten a text from All Might asking if they could talk some time about what was going on with the quirk, but he was busy with UA stuff and had just received notice that he had to be in America for the weeks between results coming out and the start of school. Though Izuku kind of doubted that All Might had any clue what was going on himself. Only one person really seemed to know what was going on. Person, of course, being away to look at it. The strange man that Izuku had successfully ID'd as late pro hero Lariat, residing in his dreamscape, seemed to have a lot to say on the matter. Apparently, the whole hidden quirks thing was part of One For All, which made sense in an extremely roundabout way that mostly relied on the fact that nobody had ever had a quirk that was anything like One For All. So there wasn't exactly a whole trail of similar phenomena to compare it to. It was a stockpiling quirk, which meant it held on to parts of the vestiges that could be stockpiled, like strength and quirks, and apparently souls? These vestiges, souls, were now living in his mind, which Izuku thought was kinda creepy, but he couldn't do much about it. They'd stopped him from using the stockpile of strength because trying to pack the strength of 7 people plus himself plus fucking All Might into one small pubescent boy probably wouldn't be very conducive to a healthy lifestyle that didn't break all his bones while causing a crater the size of a truck every time he took a step. He didn't quite get how keeping that part of the stockpile away worked, but he was thankful that they found a way to do so. Digging into Quirk 3 as he was didn't bring that much more clarity to the situation. Lariat wasn't much of a help either. Izuku was trying to figure out why he was able to access the quirks of a previous vestige, and all Lariat would say was that they had tried to release the part of the stockpile earlier, but weren't able to. They could barely even interact with All Might, even when he was in a deep meditative or even comatose state, as he had been a few times throughout his life, but it was easy for Lariat to make contact with Izuku when he was unconscious. Maybe it's the Quirk Singularity Theory coming into play, and One For Always hit singularity, said Lariat one night. I don't know what you think the Quirk Singularity Theory is, but whatever you're thinking, it's wrong, said Izuku in return. So Izuku filled his days between the entrance exam and receiving the results with research and practice, and by the end of it he had a rudimentary but functional grasp on both the physical and logistical sides of his quirk. Plus, he had some videos of some really cool super moves that Lariat used that he wanted to try out. A few weeks after the exam he got his letter, and he had learned that he made it in. He got 40 rescue points and that really saved his ass, but he had also managed to get 20 villain points due to the way his quirk activated and tore through every piece of metal in his general vicinity. Not too shabby if he was being honest. So here he stood, moderately practiced and barely self-confident, standing in front of the door to his classroom, his UA classroom, that made him feel really fucking sure. Honestly, what kind of mutation actually needed that big a door to get through? He walked through and gave a terse hello to the pink girl from the entrance exam. Her name was Uraraka, apparently, while trying to ignore Kachan and the dark-haired boy he was arguing with, the one who had called out Izuku not once but twice. Jeez. Several vestiges in Izuku's mind were getting to square the fuck up with these boys if there was an occasion necessary, not that it would be requested nor appreciated. They didn't really care. The boy with glasses tried to make conversation with Izuku about the rescue points, but Izuku was quickly distracted by the way his body jolted of its own free will. He got used to this weird feeling over the course of the past few weeks due to the fact that the vestiges would set it off every time he was going to do something dumb. Lariat told him it was a vestigial part of the fourth user's quirk that they called the panic button, or the super anxiety button, or the anti-bone soup button, or the... Actually, Izuku couldn't remember. He stopped listening past the first three. They were horrifying enough. Anyway, he turned around to see a caterpillar inching along the ground. Caterpillar Man? Now that he had turned around, Izuku was able to see his face, and that part of him was very human. Well, at least one of the gremlins I've been assigned has some form of situational awareness, sighed the man, whom Izuku had started to think of as Caterpillar-sensei. Sensei-pillar? Cat-teacher-pillar man? Man-cater-sensei? Izuku wasn't sure he was supposed to hear his comment. "Students," he continued, "it took you far too long to settle down. I'm your homeroom teacher, and you may call me Aizawa-sensei. Put on these gym uniforms and go out to the field." The students, having the fear of God struck deep into their souls by a single glare by this man, took the gym clothes and scurried out of the room. Izuku knew he had no clue where the changing rooms were, nor the field, and he was fairly sure nobody else did either. God, Izuku needed to learn how to glare like that. Eventually, they made it to the changing rooms and got dressed, though it seemed to Izuku like none of them actually knew what they were supposed to be doing on the field. They stepped out of the locker room and onto the field with a healthy dose of fear in their hearts, which only grew when their teacher spoke again. "You'll need to be faster. Minutes spent changing could kill when you're in heroics." The class shivered. "Today we'll be doing a quirk apprehension test. The person who places last will be expelled." Izuku could almost feel the air vibrate with fear and rage and other bad emotions that make you want to piss your pants. His teacher had Kacchan throw a ball and told them how far it was, then had them take the other tests with their quirks. Internally, a certain invisible girl began planning how to get away with the homicide of a pro hero if she were expelled. Fucking quirkish arsehole teacher. How the hell were the abilities and stealth that she'd been training for years supposed to help her with running as fast as a guy with fucking engines in his legs? Izuku was doing pretty good, he thought. He'd gotten second in the grip strength and first in the sidesteps, even though he'd almost given himself a concussion when he fell at the end. Plus, he'd managed higher scores than he could have gotten in most of the other tests with just a strength quirk, like when he pulled his body closer together during the flexibility test. Some of his classmates had really impressive quirks, like the girl who had made a scooter and an actual fucking rocket launcher. Others just had really impressive ways of applying their quirks, like the boy with some sort of electric quirk who zapped his Heelys to go faster, which was the epitome of all things fucking sick. Now it was his turn to throw the ball, the last person to take the test. He knew he had good enough scores to beat out several other members in his class even without this test, but he was still going to do the best he could. Plus fucking ultra. He stepped into a circle and took the ball from his teacher, placing it into the grip of one of his tendrils of Blackwhip. He then swung it around like a cowboy with a lasso to build up momentum, releasing at a point that he knew would toss the ball far. 384.8 meters. Not bad. Though just the same as almost everything else he ever did, earning that score pissed off a certain classmate that had been sending him hate and confusion-filled glares that entire day. Fucking Deku, what the fuck is this? Are you going to explain the tentacle hentai shit or what, huh? He ran at Izuku with his signature right hook, which the younger boy was barely able to dodge. The vestiges in his head became extremely keyed up for a fight, cursing awful one that they were no longer in the physical realm to kick this kid's ass. Nobody hurt that kid and got away with it. Izawa had apparently had it with the two of them as he reached out his capture scarf and tangled the explosive teen in its grasp. He then flicked his quirk on to cancel both their quirks. And that was when it all went wrong. Blackwhip, which had begun writhing around Izuku instinctively when Kacchan tried to blast him, slunk back into his body within a millisecond of his teacher's eyes on him. He pulled on the tether that would usually connect to the tendrils half-consciously as the comfort was taken away from him, trying to tug it back into place where it normally belonged, but he could feel it like a piece of rope that had the middle of it suddenly taken out. He tossed his conscious around the weird liminal quirk space and grabbed something that felt just like Blackwhip, only it wasn't? This was about the time when his feet started floating off the ground. Now, Aizawa, being the teacher with the quirk erasing quirk that he was, tried to erase the quirk that was causing his student to float. However, he was, well, already erasing Izuku's quirk. Awkward. Aizawa, obviously wondering what the fuck is happening. Izuku, who was floating in the air while whispering, what the fuck, over and over, could relate. Took his eyes off his student for a second. That's when it all went worse. Izuku was still floating upwards, despite the only student in the class that could make things float shouting, "Release!" over and over as she tried to get him to stop floating. Aizawa stopped erasing his quirk, so Izuku gained Blackwhip back, which would have been a good thing, except for the fact that he barely knew how to use one quirk, let alone two at once. He dropped like a stone. He managed to catch himself on the building nearby with Blackwhip, but unfortunately it did nothing but redirect his momentum. His freefall became an arc, and he slammed face first into one of the glass walls of the school. Hopefully there wasn't a class inside. Alrighty, my little learners, that is a wrap of this one. That was hilarious, and I love this fic. I can't believe it's been... wait, let me see, how long has it been since I did the first one of this? Because I know it was like a while ago, but like, how much is a while ago, is my question. It was a year ago, oh shit. Yeah. I posted it on, where is it? Where can I see? I can't see. Oh yeah, 26th of June, 2024. That's nearly 2 years ago. Oh fuck. Dang, that's a long time. But yeah, I like doing fics for my birthday. This is the second year I've done one for my birthday, which is crazy. And it's nearly going to be 2 years that I've been posting, which is also crazy. So yeah, I like doing little birthday ones just because it makes me happy and I get to post a one-shot, you know. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. So, my little learners, this is a little reminder you might have something you need to do a check. I hope you will have a fantastic time wherever and whenever you may be. Day, night, dust, storm, low tide, high tide, whatever it is for you. You can call me Love Good, and that was When You're in Your Mindscape with Us, You'll Float Too by ohshiddlesticks on AO3. Again, the link to this fic will be in the pinned comment by me in this video, and tags are in the description as well as warnings. Bye, little learners. Anyway, he turned around to see a calipater. What? Fucking Deku, what the fuck is this? Are you going to explain the tentacle hand-eye